Well, all right, everybody, what's going on? We're back, excuse me, we're back for another Tuesday together. Hopefully last week you've got all your characters, you've got all of your synopsis together, you've got your A and your B story, and hopefully now you know and you've got all of that for this thing you want to spend so much time writing, because that's what it's gonna be. You're gonna have fun with it, right? So that's what it is. We're going to go to our next class. We talked about the characters. Now we're going to talk about the three story beat charts. We're going to talk about story beats. This is weaving all of those characters and your why you're telling the story and your synopsis and your main ideas. And you're going to weave it all together in this long, beautiful tapestry or fabric or quilt of a story. Okay. We're going to talk about what a story beat is. Some of you are thinking, well, what's a story beat? I don't even know what that is. Should I know? Should I? Yes, you should know. Are we going to get to it? Yes. We're going to get to all of that, tell you what it is. We're going to talk about a few different story beats. We're going to talk about Save the Cat. We're going to talk about the hero's journey. We're going to talk about the Dan Harmon story circle. We're gonna have a bonus little tidbit from Pixar. It's gonna kind of tie into the homework. And as always, if you are interested and if you like what we're doing, please share and subscribe. The Patreon is right there, patreon.com/fobs, www.fobspublishing.com, and our Indiegogo for the next story in the epic tale and saga of Becky is there in the description of this very video. So let's jump right into it. Story beat. So, what is a beat? A story beat is any point in your story in which we reach a change. When something takes the story in a different direction, and it can be a subtle story beat or it can be a big story beat, but it needs to be impactful. It can't, a lot of movies nowadays suffer. The reason they suffer is their beats really have nothing to do with anything. It's like, why did you even add that? What, just to air out blow off some steam or something, or what? So I don't want to see that in your stories, okay? A story beat is any point at which we reach a change that matters to the story. It always has to go that way. So a good example is Star Wars. So when Luke meets Obi-Wan, or when Luke finds out that Darth Vader is his father, these are turning points. These are things that turn the story. Or when it was a trap and Lando Calrissian has finds out that tells Han Solo, yeah, I led you into a trap. That's a big turning point, you know. That's what they are. Or in Harry Potter, when he sees Cedric Diggory die, or Harry Potter when he's just tired of being Harry Potter. He's like, screw this, I'm done. These are different story beats, and one story beat builds on top of the other, one story beat builds on top of the other because it takes our character down these different paths, right? These are things, again, that have an impact. You need them. So now you're probably thinking, oh my God, story beats. I have to have all these things in my tale. What do I put in there? That's the we're going to get to, my friend. Now, what I'm telling you now are different, what are called, I call them beat sheets or beat charts. Basically, these are guides on how to help you arrange your story beats. All the things that you want to happen, everything like that. This is going to help you to accomplish that. Okay. So the first beat chart or beat sheet or whatever you want to call it is, let's see here, is let's see, the Save the Cat. Save the Cat. And we may go over 20 minutes today. A lot to cover here. A lot to cover. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I will respond. I see them all. The basic beginner. This is what this is, this beat chart. It's these are just some features of Save the Cat. This is not the example. These are just some features of it. Yeah, it's kind of a basic beginner chart, and that's okay. It is okay to be a starter and a beginner at this. That's fine. I like to use the other charts a little bit more now that I'm a little more advanced in my writing. But some people, if you're just starting off, or even if you're an advanced person, this is a perfectly serviceable beat chart to use. It's very formulaic. It really it literally, and as you'll see, it tells you how many pages each thing in a screenplay needs to be. No, so it doesn't do comics. It doesn't account for comics. It doesn't account for a lot of other different mediums that you want to write in your novels and stuff. It kind of accounts for novels and screenplays. What it does do, it does help cure writer's block. So if you're trying to figure out what you need to do or what your character needs to have happen next, this is a good beat sheet to have. And then it helps with stories where there are lots of characters and arcs. It really does. To me, it helps to kind of streamline those different characters. It may help you trim down a few of them. It really helps to do that. So this is a solid one. So we're gonna jump into the example, and we're not obviously, we don't have to go through each and every one just all the way in depth, but and maybe I'll get back and do each one. Maybe I'll get back and do each one with a series or something. But these are the beats. This is how they want you to do your beats, or what should happen if you're using this beat sheet called Save the Cat. Now, let me go back. If you want to know why is it called Save the Cat, it's from this book by Blake Snyder. He developed this beat sheet, and it's called The Ultimate Guide, the last book on screenwriting you'll ever need. Because and you have to have something happen in your story. You have to save the cat. That's why it's called Save the Cat. Kind of corny, right? But here it is, what we've been given. So you want to start with the opening image on page 1 on your Save the Cat beat sheet. This is the first thing we see. We're just going to go down them, touch on each one. And your opening image should be whatever the theme is, like Demon Slayer. So we see 10, and even though Demon Slayer is not for, some of you are saying, well, Demon Slayer is a TV show, not a screenplay or novel. You're right. But like I said, these are, you can use one of these, you can use all of these, some of each one. It's pretty malleable, and we're going to see here. The opening image is, just this peaceful place where Tanjiro is, or it's a dream sequence and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And so it kind of states our opening theme, and the theme stated. So then that opening image leads into our stated theme. What's the stated theme about Demon Slayer? Wanting to protect family, wanting to love family, all of that stuff. All of that stuff in Demon Slayer, that is your stated theme. They lay the groundwork. Why am I doing everything else that's going to come later in Demon Slayer? Because I love my family. That's why they're doing it. Okay? And then the world is set up. So we see this world that Tanjiro plays in, he and Nezuko. We see this world that they're in, you know. And then there's the catalyst. What happens in the catalyst? Everything turns bleak because a demon attacks the town, kills everybody, turns Tanjiro's sister Nezuko into a demon. Okay? So that's the catalyst. The catalyst is what's going to jumpstart your story. Your setup, and theme stated an opening image. That's you telling us kind of your kind of opener about what this thing's gonna be about. What's this world we're gonna play in? Give me all of that. This is when you give me give me your characters. This is when you're gonna give me kind of a reason to care about them. Okay, maybe they love their sister and they were taken, or they're trying to make $1 million, but they're flat broke and they want to fight for something bigger than them. Whatever it wants to be, whatever you want it to be, right? And then you got and then the catalyst is what's going to affect this world. The catalyst is a very important beat. Whatever happens. So what happens in Demon Slayer? The demon attacks. The demon attacks the family, right? So, and kills the whole little village. Turns Nezuko into a demon, you know? And then there's the debate. This is when your main character is going to think, man, should I really do this? And it's really good when your character genuinely or is hesitant. There, because that's gonna endear them. The debate is pretty important too after you set up your catalyst. because your debate really, we all debate whether or not we want to try something new or not. Things make us nervous, all sorts of stuff like that, right? And so it makes your character, no matter how big and powerful they are, the fact that they are scared to do this, the fact that they are scared to try to accomplish something makes them very endearing to your readers. So I think that's very good. That's my little nugget about the debate there. Then you're going to break into Act Two. We could get into acts and things. I don't want to get into acts right now because that's it's almost too simplistic. You need to break your story down and really struggle with these story beats, nuts and bolts, right? And breaking into Act Two is just basically the thing that pushes them over the edge. Like, oh, I'm in this story. I'm gonna do it, right? So now you've got the B story. So what was the B story after you've debated and left this great world where we now know your theme and your story and your struggle? We're now into Act Two. And now we're ready to learn a little more about our main character. We're ready to see them in action, just kind of do some things on their own. The B story is kind of like the love story in the movie, kind of. You know what I'm saying? The man loves the woman as this world is crumbling apart. That type of stuff. Yeah, that's the B story. B story does not have to be a love story. You know what I'm saying? In Richard Green in my comic book, which you can get online, the B story is him and his struggle trying to keep his unshaken spirit in a world that tries to corrupt him more every day. That's his B story. And again, the B story, to me, the B story should connect to the debate. If your B story connects to the debate, why they didn't want to go and do this or what has them hesitant, again, that makes it more strong because it hammers home how this character is. It hammers home how they are because later on in their story, your character is going to change. And that is very important. Okay. And then after the B story, we have fun and games. Now, this is why I don't like Save the Cat because some of you are like, fun and games. Like, what is that? Well, it's basically when, you know, the previews of the movie, okay, this is what we came to see, like big bang, boom stuff. You know what I mean? Like when we see Jurassic Park, like Jurassic Park, when we see the huge dinosaurs, that's the fun and games. We set up the world that they're in. We've talked about the theme of Jurassic Park. What is it? Life carries on or whatever it is. Stuff like that. There's a debate on whether or not they should be doing this even with dinosaurs. Is it ethical? They break into part two. And then we have the human story with the bee story, and then the fun and games. Big brontosaurus. Dun, 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 dun. It works. That's how effective it is. Tanjiro's fun and games are that first arc when he's fighting those two early twins. I think that those two white crazy looking demons in the forest. The one who was like a spider or something who caught Zenitsu. Those are the fun and games. And your fun and games, they also need to connect to the setup to three because the fun and games need to be showing how this world is. A good example of that is Harry Potter with their fun and games. If you actually read Harry Potter, one thing that J.K. Rowling did very well was to always throw in just, hey, here's some fun things that happen around the school of Harry. Here's some fun things in the wizarding world. There was lots of fun things to nibble at. You know what I mean? But they all need to feed back to your world, and they all really need to connect back to your story, honestly. Because while there were wheezing magical things floating around and nearly headless ghosts, and it all connected to Harry because Harry was looking around like, wow, my head's on a swivel. I'm just like information overload almost here in year one, and then you learn to get big and master it in the later years and books. So that needs to be your fun and games, right? So now then, and that's basically the journey while they're going to get what they need. You know what I'm saying? So now we've reached 9, the midpoint. What is your midpoint? The midpoint is basically the point where your hero either or the heroes have either gotten what they want or they didn't. You know what I mean? And if they got what they want, then that's fine. Then they think they did. All right, we won. But then the bad guys close in. So, this is the part where your villains closing in, where it's like, oh, Jurassic Park again, we've reached life. Everything is great. But then the bad guy closes in like T-Rex, like, nah, man, I'm loose. You can't control me, you know? So that's when the bad guy closes in and wrecks everything. Crunch, 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 crunch. Either the hero got what they wanted and it didn't work, crunch, crunch, or, oh man, I'm still a loser. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And then after that, that's when number 11, all is lost. That's when all is lost happens. Just everything feels just down and dirty. And your hero, they went from this bright eyed, bushy tailed person to the lowest of the low. And then this is when they explore themselves. The dark night of the soul. Some of you look at that and say, yeah, that's weird. That's a weird step. Dark night of the soul to me is B story part 2. You know what I mean? That's B story part 2. That's what Dark Night of the Soul is. B story part 2. Because just like we set up the B story in step 7 here, now we're revisiting it in step 12. It's like, man, I feel completely changed from that first part of the B story. And your character should change. If your character isn't changing from the B story to Dark Night of the Soul, go back and rework that story. Go back and rework that story because it needs to change so we can feel something, right? For my character with Shay, with Becky, Shay was this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed person, and then like at the end when she's really low, got to go and fight this chick, go and fight the blonde bitch, right? She's just cold and focused. The big bright-eyed, bushy-tailed Shay isn't there anymore. You got a Shay now that says, you know what, I got to focus. I can't be a dumb bee. You know what I'm saying? Can't be a dumb bitch. Whatever. Some of y'all found it offensive. I'm sorry. She's going to say that in part 2, by the way. So, but anyway, that's what that is. And sometime at Dark Night of the Soul, you need to go to step 13 where you break into part 3. That's basically like, aha. That is your aha moment. I remember something. I remember something that can help me. And then your hero comes through in the finale. They bust on through there in the finale, and could go and take out the bad guy. And then after that, we see our final image. And the final image should compare with the opening image. It should be a slightly altered version of your opening image so that we've come full circle, but in a changed way. That's what you need to do. Then that is Save the Cat. Lots of steps, lots of formulaic, but hey, that's the Save the Cat if that's what you want to do. And so we've got here, what else? Oh, shoot, sorry. So we've got here, next is the hero's journey. Now, this one is my favorite because it is great for single hero stories. If it's just one hero, if it's not a group of friends, it's like your one Luke Skywalker or your Harry Potter person, whoever, right? Or a monomyth. Monomyth basically means single hero story. Oh, monomyth. I don't know. Basically, it is your story only has one hero in it, one main character, right? That's what that is. And it's great for looking at character progression and development. Excuse me. So to me, that's what it's great for. Remember, I told you in the last video, our time together to focus in on your characters and how they change. This one is going to be great for that I'm about to show you. But a little drawback, and I did some good and bad with Save the Cat. With Hero's Journey, with this beat sheet or beat chart, it is a bit tough for beginners at first. So if it starts really going over your head, you can rewind, stay with Save the Cat, you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. Again, everybody's at a different point in their writing career and life, so that's okay. So here's the hero's journey. We have the hero there, look up top, this guy here. He's got his call to adventure. So just like when there was a catalyst, this is when we have that. So this is the catalyst that starts our hero. Now, in this time with this hero, you are getting to know him. Get to know him right here. with or her or them, they, whoever, get to know this individual or animal. It could be an animal. Some of you all want to do animal based stories. That's great too. This entity, we need to get to know them or know them, and we better care. We better care, because if I don't have a reason to care, I'm out. So make sure you have a reason to care. Have them fighting for something bigger than them. Okay? And have it relatable, because then there's going to be their call to adventure. So again, Shay's call to adventure was this woman who was stalking her house. She decided to go in and investigate, stuff like that. Then here comes the supernatural aid after your adventure. So this is when King Arthur, this would be like Merlin helping King Arthur. This would be like, or Hagrid helping Harry. Harry Potter's call to adventure, and then Hagrid was his supernatural aid, you know. So then we got the Threshold Guardians. This is kind of like diving in. This is them. How do they dive in? How do they get started? The Threshold Guardians, they can either be somebody to stop them from going on the journey, or somebody that pushes them in when they don't want to. So that's what the Threshold Guardians are. And by the way, if this sounds like, well, these sound like other characters, maybe I should have in my story. Yes. Yes, you should have those characters. And guess what? You should take some time to talk about and explore the progression of those characters as well. It all just flowers and flower. It's like a head of lettuce. It just flowers open, flowers open. Same. This hero's journey is applicable to the smaller hero's journey and the main character hero's journey. All of it. So get used to it. There's challenges and temptations after the Guardian. There are challenges and temptations after that, right here, my friends. I would suggest having 3 trials and tribulations, 3 obstacles, in other words. And, they don't have to be the toughest, roughest things, but they can be if your story calls for it. If it's more goofy, it needs to be funny things. Like, think about Horrible Bosses. Remember how they, on that movie, Horrible Bosses, with Jason Bateman and all those people, Jennifer Aniston's in it, I think, Jamie Foxx, how they all had to kill each other's bosses. So the challenges and temptations would be, how are they going to do it? How is it going, how they go about it? This is where your hero, how they go about accomplishing their goal. Because the call to adventure gives us our goal, and the challenges and temptations show us how they accomplish it. And a big problem with today's stories is, in movies are visual mediums, but they would rather tell than show you. Show me the hero struggling. Don't tell me, show me. Put a rock in front of them, make them push it. Don't say, wow, I struggled for 5 years. No, let me see it. Show me, tell me, okay? Write it to me. Harry Potter didn't just wake up, okay, I'm great, I'm good to go. No, he struggled. Hell, he couldn't even do magic outside of the wizarding, outside of school, until like his 3rd year. And he got banned for it. Remember, it was all crazy. Okay? And then, the helper and the mentor is there along the way. The helper and the mentor, they are both there along the way. Okay? That's what these are. So Hagrid and Dumbledore and all these other helpers, and Sirius Black, they were all there with him. Right? And then we've got the abyss, the death and the rebirth. So the abyss for Harry Potter, for me, would be when Cedric Diggory dies. That's the abyss. If you're a Demon Slayer fan, the abyss is when R.I.P. Rengoku dies. That really changes and challenges Tanjiro in ways he never knew he would be challenged. So when you reach the abyss, your character needs to have something. Has Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I clicked back by accident. I'm just excited about talking about this with you. But it needs to be, hang on. Where is it? Where is it here? There we are. Okay. So this abyss, this death, this rebirth, it needs to be so much bigger than the hero. Something that, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Little Mermaid, when she loses her voice to Ursula. Like that moment feels so much bigger for this cute chick, like little girl or whatever, this petite thing, and now she can't even breathe underwater anymore. That drives the story home. There's lots of examples in stories if you look for them. And then after that, they have a transformation. That death, that abyss, that rebirth, it changes them. So your hero is not going to be the same when they started. They need to be vastly and noticeably different. You know, in my story, Becky, Becky is noticeably different. Sorry, Shay is noticeably different after having to fight that chick at her office and get rid of her. She's different after that. And you're going to see it in book 2. She's a changed woman. And then there's atonement. There is making peace with, my change. I've changed, right? And then it's my atonement. And that leads to the return and the final climax of your story. The return is when you go back and fight the bad guy, take their ass out, because now you've changed. You've went through this abyss. You went through these challenges and temptations, all because you wanted to accept the call to adventure. Okay? And now you're back here as a new person, ready for the next adventure, because you're going to make like 8 or 10 of these books, right? But that's the hero's journey, and that's why I like that when it's a pure, cleaner type of story. It does a story beat chart. It doesn't pigeonhole you into just a few pages. That's why I like it. So now we got the Dan Harmon story circle finally here, boys and girls. It is a simpler version of the hero's journey, as we'll see, and it's very malleable, very changeable. It really is. You can do lots of different things with it. A problem with it is it is a bit too simplistic. Dan Harmon, he uses it for Rick and Morty and his shows and stuff like that, which is fine. But it can be a bit too simplistic. So if you're wanting to know how to really get in there and talk about the challenges of a hero and things like that, then you need to get in and more with that hero's journey. Or if you're a beginner, go back to Save the Cat. That's totally fine too. It's better for beginning writers to start with this one, with this story. With this arc. Now let me back up. Take 2. If you are a beginning writer and you want to go beyond Save the Cat, I would start here. Start here with the Dan Harmon story circle, then go to the hero's journey. Okay? I just wanted to give you the simple one, the really, really more complex one with the story arc, with the hero's journey, and this Dan Harmon story circle is here in the middle. So here we go. There is you, the protagonist. We're gonna go through these. Now, I do like it because Dan Harmon talks about the need. Your protagonist, whoever, your hero, your entity, your lion, your whoever, they have to have a need. They have To me, I call need fighting for something bigger than you, fighting for something noble. Because that's what's really gonna endear you. In Demon Slayer, we like it because Tanjiro is fighting to protect his little sister. And as a big brother to a little sister and a younger brother too, I find that very endearing. That's what endears Demon Slayer to me. There's lots of reasons to like it, but that's one. Becky with my book, Shay, she really is fighting for the love of her life, Eric, a man she loves that takes care of her very well, and she wants to do what's right. So that's her need. And then there's go. Oh, you really need it? All right, let's test you out. Let's go. There's the go, where that need is tested, where and the go has to result from the need. I like that. I do like that about the story arc. And then after you decide that you're gonna go try to find that need, then you have the search. We got to search for that need. Okay. And that's your road of trials. That's when you're going through all these different things. Remember, I say I recommend about 3 trials, 3 obstacles, 3 things that your hero needs to go through, and each one needs to build them up. It don't just have things like a lot of these movies do. Don't just have things in there to fill time. It needs to be something that adds to the character, that's going to help them fulfill that need. Okay. Find. Meeting the goddess. You can't really see it there. I'm sorry. I don't think you can. Wait, let me see. Can you? No, I don't think so. I'm sorry. You'll find it. You'll find what you need. You know what I'm saying? All right, good. I found it. And then take. I say take is like you found it, but so think of the monkey paw story where, yeah, I got my wish, but also this bad thing happened. When they find their thing, think of it as a monkey paw. This happened because I found it, right? Shay was out here looking for a good man. She found one in Eric, and but the monkey paw is there's an evil white woman living inside of him. So that's her monkey paw, right? The take is your monkey paw. Then you return after you learn to work with that monkey paw. That's you, bringing turn, return, take all that, fighting the bad guy. That's when you're a changed person. See, you know, and like I said, the Dan Harmon story circle, it doesn't really account for that character development. It really accounts for the story development. And by the way, change, and then you'll come back changed after that, after you fight, defeat the bad guy in return, and then you're back. So it's about the character change. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, here's order. Also, in here's order, and the bottom is chaos. That's another way to think about these. The order is when you're establishing your story. That's the you, and then the bottom is chaos. So let me go back here. I think there was one. Yeah, the known and the unknown, the order and the chaos. And by the way, you can work all of these into each other. So again, like I said, the opening image, that's the you, the protagonist. That's when we're getting to know the story and the world, the need. That's what that is. And then the go. The go is the catalyst that starts the story from Save the Cat. We can just go on and on like that. So those are pretty much the story arcs. Those are just an overview of the beat sheets, the beat charts and things. Those are three of my favorites. There's a plethora of more. If you're like, those are stupid. Okay, well, go look up some more. Go look up, just Google search beat charts, flow charts. Those are my three favorites. And again, if you have a question in the comments, just let me know in the comments. We'll get to you. But your homework, you are going to pick your favorite beat chart and use it on your story. Or you can use a mixture of them all. Doesn't matter. You can pick your favorite one and then decide which one you're going to put in your story. Pick your favorite one. And then after you do that and use it in your story, or use them in your story, read over your story and see how it flows. And if you can, I know writers, hey, fellow introvert, I have social anxiety, fellow introverted, sad person here, got SAD. I know a lot of us, we don't have a lot of trusted friends and family. Some of us do, shout out to you. But I know a lot of us don't. But if you do, have somebody whose voice you trust, have them read it. Have them read what you had and have them give you honest feedback. Okay? And then refine your story, work on it, tweak it, struggle with it. That's where the good minutia, the good meaty stuff is gonna come out. And then I want you to read Pixar's 22 rules of storytelling. I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot, but I need you to do that. Read Pixar's 22 rules of storytelling as well, okay? So that's what we're gonna do. So you guys get started on that homework. You all take care. You are a great writer. You can become a great writer. Rewind this video, see what we've got. Donate to the Patreon and check out our links in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.